言うことは一つだけ。絶対負けねえ。分かったろ。君たちがゴールを割ることは 100% 不可能ということだな。
How's it going, everybody? This is Nothing Excess here with a new Dream Team analysis. We've got another player. You may have been wondering, hey, weren't you missing somebody from the last video? Well, no, not really. This character, I've had the stats and stuff for a little bit, but I didn't want to release it yet because I didn't want to spoil anything. But now that we're basically on the eve of the character's release, I think it's time for us to talk about Zino Hernandez, the glorious perfect save record. And we're going to jump straight into him because he's the only character we're going to be talking about. First off, listen, I think there must be something in the water in Japan that makes it way better at helping their goalkeepers conserve stamina than in Europe. Must be all that Pocari sweat, to be honest. Because listen, jumping SGK catch is a 490 momentum, 340 stamina catch. God hand SGK catch is a 500 momentum, 365 stamina catch. But Zino, with perfect keeper's absolute defense, has a 495 momentum, 380 stamina catch. Listen, sure, he can at least use it twice per half without full power, and he also comes with an outrageously good A catch as a backup. A golden right hand is a 320 momentum, 290 stamina catch, which is better and worse in some ways than one-handed catch. But it's also priced like one. But this is where things start to get rather interesting. One thing he has access to is a punch stat that's almost as good as his catch stat. I'm talking about like 300 points difference, and it's like over 13k. This means that even without really investing much into it, it's really good and viable to give him a strong A punch like A silver left hand, which is a decent 295 cap punch. And if you have a dupe of the red Dreampot Zino, a copy of the S1 as backup like S Miracle Fine Save, which is pretty okay at 450 momentum, 205 stamina. Of course, there will always be detractors of people deciding to hybridize their goalkeepers. There's a valid argument for trying to simply maximize a single value, and it's a perfectly valid argument. Just remember that with his passive killing any ground shot by 12%, that's basically almost functionally identical to Safety Zone, just much better. And teaching those punches is still a good idea even if you don't go hybrid to prevent opponents from trying to drain you. Talking now just about Zino himself, there are good and bad things about him as with anything. The good things are that he completes an archetype, allowing players to fully utilize a green European team, which finally has at least two particularly strong strikers available. Really one, and we kind of just allow the other one because he counters Japanese players. Anyway, one of the weird issues of running Green Europe right now is probably that Green Europe actually really wants to play Margus because of Chester and his humongous passing stats and access to a 1-2, and that's a little weird, but it's not the end of the world. Like, for example, if you played on that Europe Cup, you knew that the Green Margus, if you got him, the 18 Margus, was actually quite nice. That said, Green Europe has a slightly congested midfield, and you'll have to figure out a solution for it, with many great players being feasible to run in it. You've got Kaltz, Guti, Levin, Chester, and so on. And there's the other problem that Green Europe was hoping to avoid. The Green Dreamfest goalkeeper not being Mueller means that Dream Collection Kaltz's hidden ability buff for German players does not apply to Gino. So what does that mean for most Green Europe teams that will soon be complete? Well, the most obvious one is that many of them are going to be running 18 Mueller as a backup on the bench, since he'll still be crazy strong, particularly if you run 43% with, say, Chana's buff, the non-Japan plus 13%, and forward goalkeeper 13%. The second is that this may limit some aspect of Green Europe's team building as a result, although their archetype combination was already rather exacting before, so it's nothing new. He is a goalkeeper, his role is primarily catcher, but he can be made into a hybrid build. He is a double S tier for sure. He's technically better than the other SS goalkeepers, but his stamina problems are real, and so he comes back down to double S in my opinion. Would I pull for him? Yes. If you need a goalkeeper in Europe and you want a Dreamfest goalkeeper, particularly if you're trying to make green happen, this is your guy. For his grading, his main save and his spam defense are both double S. He has access to several ways of preventing himself from getting spammed out, and also because he has a shock tailor non-flying as passive, which we'll cover in a little bit, he is very resilient against spam because he's very strong against it. He's rather independent. He does need a little bit of help to make sure that players don't wind up in the air in the box against him. He's not particularly flexible because, believe it or not, even though you can build him hybrid, he's missing B catches and C punches, so you can't build him that flexibly, unfortunately. However, he's very durable. He has almost 1100 stamina, and he does have plenty of skill support, and as a goalkeeper, it's very easy to have good skill support. You just need several levels of stamina granularity, and he has those. His team skill is an S. It's not great. It's just Warriors, Emergence, Europe, and Forward Goalkeepers, but it's just 10% buff. And that, again, is only really nice for PvE purposes nowadays. But his passive is easily double S, since he just crushes any shot that isn't in the air to the tune of being 12% stronger against them. He's basically countered by aerial strategies and is otherwise very strong against everything else. Imagine this like safety zone against anything not in the air, so it's like a stronger safety zone. If they're anywhere on the field, they basically, if they do a ground shot, it's 12%. However, if they do a low flying or high flying shot, he is weaker against those. For his limit breaks, we're going to talk about not just his limit breaks, but also about what the shots look like once they're limit broken. For the basic is full catch, which is 25 catch power technique, and you already know how hybrid works, which is punch catch 25, speed technique 3, and power 19. So let's talk about what a no passive full catch would look like. You have 74k as your main catch. As you can see, the other catches are here, and Miracle Fine Save, which is the punch, would be a 60.2k. A golden right hand would hit 47.9k, which is pretty okay, and his A punch, his best one, would be 39.4. His best B punch would be 31.4, and his best C catch would be 27.7, which would be C one-handed catch. We're not really gonna go over everything. If you can pause this to read the actual slides if you really want to see more, but I'm not gonna cover every single stat like I normally would, because that would make me just drone on and on about numbers. Now, no passive if you're running hybrid. 72.9k to his main catch. His main punch would be 64.7k. As you can see, it's almost a 4,500 point improvement, which is quite good, and it would only cost you about 1,200 points to your max punch, max catch, so it depends on whether you think that's valuable. His main A catch would be a 47.1k, down from 47.9, not a big difference. His A punch would improve from 39.4 to 42.4, pretty good. That's an easy 3,000 points. A double-handed punch, 37.4. Again, don't use this punch, it's not very good. His best B punch would be 33.8k, which is a little bit up from 31.4. And his main C catch would be down just a bit to 27.2k from 27.7k. Now, if you have your passive on, against everything that's on the ground, you can see why he's so resilient, right? 83k for a full catch on his main catch. And if it's hybrid, it's only 81.7k. For his best punch, 67.4k if you build him full catch, but 72.5k if you build him hybrid. And that's, I think, the main reason why anyone might consider this, is because 72.5k is basically the worst case scenario for most goalkeepers in their main stat. So, for example, Dreamfest Genzo, with his main S catch, hits around this amount if he's facing a Japanese player, right? His worst case scenario is low 70s, and Zino, against any shot that's like a spam shot with his S punch, would be better than Genzo's worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is already really good. Like a 72.5k save attempt is quite good. Obviously, if you think that the save attempt needs to be as strong as possible and you're hybrid, you have an 81.7k catch, which is quite nice. It's a Dreamfest Mueller levels of good. Sorry, not Dreamfest Mueller, 18 Mueller levels of good. Anyway, a golden right hand if you built him full catch, 53.6, and if you built him hybrid, 52.8 with his passive on. The punch goes from 44.2 silver left hand to 47.5, pretty good improvement there. His B silver left hand punch goes from 35.2 to 37.8, and his C one-handed catch improves from 31k to 30.5k. Sorry, it weakens from hybrid, so you lose about a little bit less than 500, a little bit more than 500 points, I believe. 504. So that's the comparison, and you can draw your own conclusions from that, right? I just give you the information. If I was gonna build him, I would still probably go full catch, because I think that a 67.4k Miracle Fine Save attempt should be enough for anything that I'm already comfortable trying to punch. And most things that I'm gonna punch with an A punch, I don't know if 47k is enough of an improvement, or 44.2k for me to consider doing it with an A punch. I would only use the S punch no matter what, right? And so it would depend whether I'm down to use like 200 stamina. And if I'm down to use about 200 stamina, then maybe 67k is enough. However, the difference between Perfect Keeper's absolute defense at the full catch at 83k versus 81.7k is really, again, it's actually about 1250 points. So there's like a really good argument for actually going hybrid. It's up to you. I leave it out there to your discretion. I know I'm gonna get flamed. I know that there's people, particularly in the Latin American community, who's like, "Oh, why would you make them hybrid?" And it's like, listen, I'm just putting the information out there. If you have the power of the calculator and you have opened an Excel spreadsheet and you have done math once in your life, you will know that it's not that different. And I know a lot of Latino players play by feel, and so there's no convincing you. And so this video, in that case, is not for you. Just go full catch. This argument won't persuade you, and I'm not really trying to persuade you. Do what you think is right. You have the two options here. Do your thing. For his stats, 1024 stamina, really, it's not like crazy, but it's pretty good. It's not bad. As you can see, his punch and his catch are crazy high. That results in a 13.1k punch and 13.4k catch, which is astronomically high. It's some of the best stuff ever in this game, and it's kind of weird that they made the junior youth version of this character so strong, but it is what it is. I'm not surprised that they released a junior youth player this late into the game, because this is when Zino was, I think, at his best and at his most impactful, and so it is what it is. For his skill build, finally, S Perfect Keeper's absolute defense is his main S catch. Really good, keep it there. If you have a copy of S Miracle Find Save, go for it. A golden right hand, you come with it, keep it there. A silver left hand, if you can have a copy of it leveled up, just go slap it on there. And then C one-handed catch. You can't get too granularly, unfortunately, with his stamina, because while he has plenty of saving skills, he has a weird lack of C punches and of B catches. It's kind of bizarre, but not a particularly uncommon thing for non-Japanese players to just be missing skills at certain levels. You should note that his base punching is so high without a limit break that the only benefit you gain from using a hybrid build is being able to use Miracle Find Save and Silver Left Hand against a very small additional subset of shots, so you might as well probably just go full catch. Either way, the choice is yours. Anyways, thank you all for liking this video and for checking it out. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and click the like button and leave a comment telling me what you think before checking out the rest of the channel. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, please subscribe and ring the little bell to be notified of when new videos or posts are made. If you would like to support my work, you can leave me a tip by clicking on the Streamlabs link in the description, or you can join my Patreon, where you can subscribe monthly and enjoy the unique benefits available to my Patreon subscribers. Check that out by following the Patreon link in the description below. Thank you guys for checking this out. I hope to see you all soon after EVO. Or during EVO, you never know.